your first time? Like,
I did it for the Special Olympics
oh,
games.
okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, but this is like my first real game. So.
Yeah.
We'll make it a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thankful that you guys are here, you know.
Yeah, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's like what I've learned. Like, there's really no need to be nervous about anything. Like, the way I think of it is like we're just three people having a conversation about what's happening in front of us is like kind of eases my nerves a little bit.
Thanks, Jonas.
Yeah, no problem.
Could I just get each of your first and last names for the intro?
Yeah.
Sure.
Jenna Case,
right?
yep.
And Jillian K.
What was the last name?
K-A-Y.
Oh my gosh, JK.
Yeah, look at that. They're going to think I say the same name or something. I say it too quick. I got to...
You could actually just say Jill K too if you want. Whichever is easier for you.
I'll do Jillian, so it's...
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Whichever one's easier, I honestly, yeah. Both work, so.
So, as far as names, I think ours are all pretty straightforward.
11.
Ragas?
I don't...
He's the only senior, right?
Yeah. That's how you say it, though. Ragas?
I'm pretty sure it's... Oh, I don't know, but
do we have
that was my guess.
Okay, let's...
Ragas?
Because I think we should say Ragas because I don't think Ragas is, like, appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ragas sounds good. Ragas. Who else we got?
Oh. The rest look fine
I think their
to
team's
me.
pretty hard.
For them?
Just... DeCarvalho.
Holdier?
Which one?
Probably not Holdier.
Holdier?
Probably Holdier, right?
Which one's that?
Where are you guys looking?
DeCarvalho.
Probably Sam Willinger and Aaron Brody.
Do you want to... You can cover that.
Joe, was I supposed to hear her when she just said that? Okay. Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
Wait, can you repeat that? So when it comes up, I'm supposed to let you know when to start talking? Okay. Good.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so
I
you
throw
got
it to
that.
you, and
Yeah.
then they'll put up the graphic for it, so it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
You mean... Okay, is that at the beginning right now?
No. So right after the anthem is when I'll introduce it all, and then.
Yeah.
So when I see them up there, just start talking about it.
Yeah. Well, no. I'll toss it to you. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll toss it to you. Then when you start like
talking,
talking about it,
they'll come up on the screen.
Did you get it? So it times out well.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
So are we
I could
gonna
start with that. And
are we gonna cover like this too, like the stuff about their new coach and
so
all right, awesome.
I feel like we should just start with that because they have the graphic for it.
Okay, and then
so
we'll
start with
yeah,
that,
awesome.
And then I'll go back to me. I'll go, but Emerson won both against like what we said.
Yeah,
earlier.
sounds good.
Does that work out?
Yeah. would probably try to avoid his first name if you're having trouble pronouncing it. And same with Amferny Garcia. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
2 is 20
For Dean.
So Jake Kelly. Jake Kelly's 20
All right.
Willinger, Connolly, Gray, Seckets. Is it Seckets?
Yeah, I'm
Emerson,
guessing it's seconds.
Duress,
Athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation.
Welcome, one and all, to the Bobby Brown and Stephen Plofker Gym here at Emerson College for today's men's volleyball matchup between the Dean College Bulldogs and your Emerson College Lions. I'm Joe Dubois, joined today by Jillian Kay and Jenna Case. Jillian, tell us about some of the key players on either side of today's matchup.
Well, Joey, some of the key players are Aaron Brody for the Dean Bulldogs. He stands at 6'6" with 94 career kills, 24 blocks, 61 digs, which is really unusual for a middle blocker, and 34 aces. He's definitely a powerhouse for the Bulldogs. On Emerson's side, we have Sam Willinger, who is the outside hitter with 242 career kills, and he averages about 1.48 kills per set. And he has 97 career digs as well as 12 blocks.
And there you see Willinger getting the Lions hyped up before this matchup. And Jenna, we talked about it before. Emerson last year, 2-0 against the Dean Bulldogs, but we could see a different looking team from Dean this year. Why is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, Dean posted an overall record of 6-22, but this year they got a new head coach, Joe Hanrahan, and he coached that WPI in 2018 and actually helped them earn a spot in the NEWMAC quarterfinals. So it'll be interesting to see if he's implemented a new playing style for this Dean College team here, or how his coaching style has paid off for these players.
Yeah, and both teams very young, only one senior for the Lions, no seniors for Dean, so definitely young players that are only going to get better as time goes on, and it'll be good to see Dean progress with their new head coach.
Yeah, absolutely, Joey. Dean is definitely confident in their youth, as John Kaufman is a captain and he's only a sophomore. He was actually voted MVP of the team last year and had 175 kills and 135 digs on the 2019 season.
Kaufman definitely the leader for this rebuilding Dean team, and we'll see. It's actually the first match of the year for Dean. They come in obviously with no record. Emerson coming in off of a tough loss to Nichols a week ago today, looking to get their first win of the year in their first home match of the year. Dean will begin with the serve once play begins here. Music quiets down, and that means it's game time. Back to serve for the Bulldogs is the captain, John Kaufman. Right into the net, and Emerson on the board. They'll take that one any day.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a tough start there for Dean, which is interesting to see because watching them in warm-ups, they definitely were very focused.
Danny Duress with the serve for the Lions. Dean responding, but that will be long to Emerson. Tyler Martin's looking to put it away for Dean, but goes out. Duress with another serve. There's Martins again. Good block at the net by Connolly. Connolly again. Martins gets it over the top and out once again. Strong start for the Lions.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the type of tight defense on the net that we want to see the Lions play. So strong showing there from Matt Connolly, the junior from Haverhill, Mass.
Into the net again for Dean. Can't seem to get anything going early on here. And a quick timeout called by the Bulldogs. It is their first match of the year, so you can expect some early season jitters from the Bulldogs, but definitely not the way they wanted to start off, down 4-0.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not entirely surprised that they are calling a timeout this early, because although they were very focused in the warm-ups, they definitely were struggling a bit when practicing the serves over. They were hitting it into the net quite a few times and just kind of struggling to get it over. So we're going to see if throughout this game if they can kind of shake out those jitters and convert a little bit more.
And here you see some of those key plays in the early going here. As the Emerson Lions huddle up, they just want to keep this momentum going through the timeout. And notably, the first 4 points have all ended on errors on behalf of the Bulldogs. Emerson still not with a kill. So it's really, for the Bulldogs, they just got to talk about minimizing those mistakes and keeping play going and hoping the Lions make a few mistakes of their own. Duress continuing to hold serve for the Lions. Bulldogs get it over. Now Lions on the attack. There's Connolly, just got a piece of it, but that's all he needed to keep this Emerson run going.
Yeah, Connolly is showing very strong on the front of that net there. His height is definitely an advantage.
I think that was a bit of a mishit from Connolly, but he was able to find the donut, and that's a great spot.
And there was another great spot from Martins to get the Bulldogs on the board for the first time today, as he hit the corner perfectly, as you see it once again here. Nothing the Lions could do about that one. Now serving is Aaron Brody. Josh Elliott with a booming hit for the Lions. Dean scrambling, and that'll get out of play. Elliott with a boom there. Checking in now for the Lions is Parker Gray, the freshman from LA, getting his first action on the home court. And this one will go wide. Another point for the Lions as they are building a strong lead here in this first set.
Yeah, absolutely. Out of the 7 points the Lions have so far, only 2 of them are from kills, the rest from attack errors.
Bulldogs struggle to get that one over once again. Willinger looking for the kill, gets bounced around a few times, and another point for the Lions.
Yeah, we saw there Parker Gray go up for a jump. It was a good fake and allowed the Lions to get an easy point there.
You see Matt Connolly, the junior, a leader for this team. But his serve that time will go right into the net and back to the Bulldogs. Back in now for the Lions is Leon Chen.
Definitely killed the momentum a little bit for the Lions, and momentum is the biggest thing in volleyball, so we'll see if they can get it back.
Absolutely, and there it is right there as Gray puts into the ground, gets another one for the Lions. As Willinger now will head back to serve. Brody struggled with that one, but Bulldogs still have a chance either way. Gray hits it up to Elliott. Lions will just be forced to send this one over, and it's Duress who does it. And Ragas with a good opportunity, but that one will go just long. Point for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Lucas Ragas actually had a strong showing in the Lions last game. He had all 6 assists for the Lions, so it really shows the type of team player that he is.
Serve goes into the net there from Martins. Now back to the Bulldogs, up 10-3 in this first set.
Now, Jill mentioned momentum earlier, so now the Lions are hoping to get a little bit of momentum back here.
It's been pretty back and forth these past few points as Elliott has a good serve. And the opportunity there for the Bulldogs goes into the net. Strong hit from Kaufman, but just didn't get enough air under it as Josh Elliott will serve once again. Elliott, the sophomore from Swedesboro, New Jersey. And paints that one into the corner for an ace. 12-3 Lions. Another one from Elliott. Gets a piece of the net and lands in. Back-to-back aces for Elliott. And I think it's safe to say the momentum in the line side now, John.
Loving the energy on the court. Sam Willinger is definitely bringing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in any sport, energy from your teammates is very, very important.
Dean can't get that serve back either as Elliott with a strong run here.
Speaking of Elliott and strong runs, he actually had a great showing last game, leading the team with 6 digs.
And this one goes back to the Lions. 15-3. And another timeout called by the Bulldogs. Still trying to work out those kinks that they came into this game with, but Emerson really in complete control early on in this first set.
I think the main difference between Emerson and Dean right now, just from what I've seen so far, I think Emerson seems to be a bit more composed than Dean. And I think that's why they're having so much success and so much momentum, because they're not panicking, they're staying very calm, whereas Dean looks to be a little bit nervous. As we mentioned before, this is their first game of the season, and they still definitely have a bit of kinks to work out.
Definitely, and speaking of composure, we've seen a few of the Dean players try to take balls with their hands rather than keeping a solid platform. Yeah,
on that last serve that you just saw a replay of, as a matter of fact, definitely a strong example of that. Seems like Emerson in a way is almost just waiting for Dean to make the mistake right now, just keeping the ball in play and waiting for Dean to, as we've seen, hit it into the net a few times early on. Emerson just being the more consistent team so far. That's why they're ahead 15-3. Now they're back out there, ready to go. Dean still trying to figure it out as they break their huddle and rejoin the Lions on the floor.
Yeah, Joey, you mentioned that Emerson is trying to wait for Dean to make some mistakes, and they definitely have every right to do that. Dean has had 5 attack errors so far, so it's interesting to see how the Lions insert that into their game plan. And speaking of attack errors.
And as Jillian said as well, hitting with the hands there, goes right into the ground, and there's another one for the Lions.
Brody does stand at 6'6", though, so that might contribute to why he's trying to take it with his hands.
And Elliott can't get that one over the net, so back to the Bulldogs. Emerson still with a strong lead here. Serving now for the Bulldogs is Holgier de Carvalho. Over there is Gray. Good placement along the sideline that'll land just in and give the Lions another point.
Those back corners seem to be open on Dean's side.
Yeah, Jill, I definitely agree with that, and I think that shows how cerebral of a team Emerson is as they're looking to find those back corners for sure.
Emerson setting it up. Good block at the net by Dean. They're staying alive in this one. Willinger now looking for the kill. And a great dive, but it goes out of bounds, and another point for the Lions. Aaron Rivers giving it his all on that one, but it wasn't enough. Serving again now is Parker Gray. Bulldogs get it back over. Now coming up is Willinger. Kept alive, but no one is there for the Bulldogs.
A little bit of a miscommunication there.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jill. Again, the difference between these two teams is Emerson definitely seems a bit more chatty than Dean, and as we saw there, a communication error, which you can't have in this type of game.
Well played by the Bulldogs, keep that one alive. Emerson now looking for the killers. Connolly is blocked and kept alive by Rivers. Bulldogs will get it back over, and that will go long. I'm sorry, that will be in, as a matter of fact, so another point for the Bulldogs.
The score right now is Emerson leading 19-5. Dean is slowly trying to chip away at this lead.
Back in for the Bulldogs is Nicholas Carlson, the West Warwick, Rhode Island native. As Jake Kelly serves. Looks like the referees were not quite ready for that one. So we'll do that again. Here's the serve from Kelly. That one will go just wide. Good try there from Duress. Another point for the Bulldogs. Still Emerson with a healthy lead in this one, 19-6. There's another serve from Kelly. Too much under that one. Back to the Lions.
Yeah, again, we're seeing the Lions have success not only from their own play, but the struggles of Dean as well, as we just saw there once again.
There's a serve. And a strong play there, maybe the highlight of the game so far from the Bulldogs. John Kaufman, he's the stud for these Bulldogs. He comes up and gets the kill there.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier in the game, John Kaufman is the sophomore captain for this Bulldogs team, and he did have 175 kills last year.
Good play by Duress to keep that one alive. And back to Chen. And there's Willinger looking for the kill. Whistle blown, point goes to the Bulldogs.
Seems as though Nicholas Carlson, tried to dump the ball but doubled it.
Well played by the Bulldogs. And right in the middle of multiple players, Carlson puts it right down. Strong stretch for him. 20-9, Emerson up. But the Bulldogs making a little run here. Kaufman's serve is long. Now back to the Lions as they look to put this first set away. There's Duress back once again to serve. Good block at the net by Connolly, still manages to get over. Willinger puts it down, and that one cannot be handled by the Bulldogs. Emerson 22, Dean 9.
That was a great block there from Connolly, but even better play to keep the ball rolling in this game and allowing the Lions to get another point there.
Strong serve, but a little too strong as that one will go beyond the line. Now serving for Dean, Aaron Brody. Gets a piece of the net, kept alive nicely by the Lions though, but then they can't do anything with it as Dean continues to show what they're capable of in this first set.
I think on that last play there, we're seeing the strong work ethic of this Emerson team. The ball definitely had a bit of an awkward spin to it, yet we're still seeing players diving and doing everything that they can to keep it in play.
There's Elliott at the net, and that one is good. Well placed there for the kill. 23-11 Emerson. Dean thought it went their way. Referees correct them, and now back to Matt Connolly, who will serve for the Lions. Serve goes into the net, and back to the Bulldogs as they won't go down easy in this first set. There's Carlson with the serve. Good eye by the Lions to let that one go, 24-12. And they have a chance to finish this set right here. Sam Willinger back to serve. Willinger keeps it alive. Now Duress looking to put it away, and he will do just that, 25-12. And oh, I'm sorry, that one goes out. Back to Dean, 24-13. Sorry about that, but Dean.
It's okay, Joey, it happens.
Dean keeping this one interesting.
Yeah, Dean is not going down without a fight, as we're seeing here. 24-13 Lions, and Dean is still trying to do anything to get back in this game here.
Gray with a great opportunity for a kill there, but just hits the ball wrong, goes into the net. 24-14.
That was a good attempt at trying to set the middle, Parker Gray, except he was just a little bit off the net, and it might have been a better choice to go for the right side. But I do appreciate him trying to go to the middle.
Elliott tries to cross it there, out of bounds again. Emerson looking a little out of whack at the end of this first set. Serving is Martins. Gray with the soft touch there, and there it is. That will finish the first set for the Lions. Dean, though, picking it up towards the end. Emerson still victorious in the first set, 25-15, and we'll be right back after this short break. Back here in Emerson College for the second set of this men's volleyball matchup between the Emerson Lions and the Dean College Bulldogs is getting underway. Dean will start off 1-0. But Jill, can you tell me about some of the key players for Emerson that led the way in that first set?
Sure, Joey. So far we've seen Sam Willinger with 4 total kills on 4 attempts. And so that means he has 1,000 hitting percentage right now, which is pretty amazing. And he has 2 digs. So he's doing pretty great for the Lions right now.
Jenna, anyone else that stands out to you?
Yeah, Joey, absolutely. Lucas Ragas, very strong showing so far in that first set with 10 assists. I think that really goes to emphasize the trust that this Lions team has in each other and the team play, which goes to something that I recognized when they were warming up. They were constantly cheering each other on, very excited and very energetic, which just goes to show the high-quality team chemistry that they do have.
Absolutely. It's a good mix of returning talent and some young guys on this team, so great to see them meshing well so early on in the season.
Yeah, definitely. This is only their second game. They haven't even started conference play yet. It's going to be exciting to see how the team progresses once they hit new MAC time.
Now they're up 2-1 in this second set. Back to the Lions, 3-1. Elliott serving for the Lions. And here's Elliott once again. Dean gets it back over Chen. Now over. Good block at the net, but a better play out there by Emerson. First time in the game for Jarek Liu, the freshman from Richmond Hill, Canada.
As we saw, Brody was able to get a touch on it. However, he wasn't able to press over the net, and it tooled off his block.
And Emerson does not have heights listed for their players, but Brody up at the net, he's 6'6". Liu doesn't really look like he's 6'6" out there, so great to see Liu getting up there and challenging Brody.
Yeah, Joey, he definitely does not appear to be 6'6", but what's interesting about him is that he is from Canada, and Leon Chen is actually from Hong Kong, China. So the two of them are definitely bringing a little bit of international flair to this team, which is really interesting to see.
And a timeout now called by the Bulldogs. Emerson up 5-1. And Jenna, also to go off of that, I noticed last year, I believe everyone on the team was an East Coast player, but 2 freshmen from the same high school, Garrett Sekitz and Parker Gray, both from St. John Bosco High School over in Los Angeles. So getting some of the West Coast represented on this team as well. So
yeah,
a lot of geographical diversity on this Emerson Lions squad.
Between Sekitz and Gray, we're really going to see some bonding between the two of them. As you mentioned, both from LA, both went to the same high school, and it's really good to see that this Emerson team has players from all over the country. What's interesting about sports, depending on where you play, which state you're from, your style of play is going to be a little bit different from those in other states. So bringing a bunch of players together from all over the country is really going to help this Emerson team in a good way.
Absolutely. And Emerson is a hub for diversity, so it only makes sense.
Absolutely.
Based on what we're seeing so far, I'm pretty sure Coach Ben is just telling Emerson Lions to keep their foot on the gas and keep playing well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jill, that's a great analysis there. In a game like this, I mean, why slow down? Keep your foot on the gas, keep going.
Elliott still holding serve for the Lions. Doesn't hit that one right. That'll go wide left there. Is now back to the Bulldogs. Aaron Brody will serve. Brody's got a couple of fingers taped up. I wonder if that's affected his play at all here today. Not on that serve, though, as that gets over. Connolly with a booming hit. Blocked at the net, though. Bulldogs still alive. Elliott putting it down. Brody keeping it alive, though. Good point here on both sides. Willinger blocks at the net, but then it'll get out of bounds. Strong play by the Bulldogs there.
We saw a great touch by number 16 Carlson on Dean off the block. It really slowed down the ball so that the defense could pick it up and set it up for a good play.
Dean 2 straight points after that timeout. And make that 3 as Chen can't handle the serve there.
Yeah, Dean is within 1 now from tying the setup. And it's good to see there's a little bit of competition now. It's obvious that Dean is definitely getting a little bit of momentum here in the second set.
There's Brody again. Lou at the net gets it over. And that one will go long. Too much under that one for Martins. And Emerson back on the board. Now into the match for the first time today. The sophomore Danny Mullen from Bedford, New Hampshire. His first action of the season, actually, as he did not play in that match the other day against Nichols. As this one will go to the Lions. Mullen gets the Lions a point on his first serve of the year.
Yeah, this is good to see for Mullen. I mean, obviously he did not play in the last game, so getting a point off his first serve in his first game of the season is definitely going to be great for his confidence.
Unfortunately, not as lucky on that second one, and Connolly will come back in for him. Still, as you mentioned, great first point for Mullen. Now serving for the Bulldogs, Nicholas Carlson. One of the many freshmen on this team. Over to Willinger. Willinger just has to keep it alive, and he places it well. Bulldogs can't get it back.
Yeah, this Lions team is very excited after that play, as we saw and heard a little bit of cheering and yelling, but it's great to see how well they mesh as a team.
You see that angle again for Willinger, not one that many players can usually get a point on, but Willinger finds a way to make it happen. Cross-court hit there by De Carvalho, but Willinger gets it back and places it right between a few of the Bulldogs. Strong play there.
Yeah, Willinger is on a roll tonight.
I also love his attitude on the court. He actually won the All Sportsmanship Award last year.
Love to see that from the Lions. He'll now serve once again. Not much. Oh, that one will go just wide, the referee says. Martin's very unhappy with that call. He thought he had a highlight there, but unfortunately for the Bulldogs, that one goes to the Lions. Here's the serve from Willinger. Miscommunication there, but the Bulldogs get it over anyways. Kept alive, gets it over. Another good point here. Lou cross court. Brody gets it right back to Elliott. And there's Gray blocked again and then hit under the net. And resiliency on full display there from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Dean is definitely starting to pick up their defense a little bit. I think their communication has been a bit better, especially on defense. On offense, still struggling a little bit.
And as you say, Jenna, the serve goes into the net there from Martins and right back to the Lions now.
If Dean is going to have any chance of coming back in this game, they're going to need to reduce their service errors.
Absolutely. It's been the story of the match for the Bulldogs. Errors upon errors. Serve from Duress will go into the net and then out. Now back to the Bulldogs as the Lions make an error of their own.
Yeah, Jill, as you mentioned, Dean definitely has to reduce their service errors. They have 6 of them so far, but the Lions should try reducing theirs as well. They actually have 9, which is more than what Dean has.
Good block of the net by Gray. Chen keeps it alive. Now over to Elliott. Good touch, and the Bulldogs couldn't get to that one.
As I mentioned earlier, this Lions team is showing to be a very cerebral team, and that soft touch there from Elliott just shows how smart this team is.
And timeout called by Dean. They don't like where this second set is going. It seemed like they had a chance to compete in this set early on, but now Emerson trying to pull away. Dean trying to stop this run before it really gets off the ground. And there you see Coach Ben Reed leading the Emerson Lions as they're ahead 12-7 in the second set. And Jill, you are on the women's volleyball team, so you have also been coached by Coach Reed. Can you tell us a little about Coach Reed?
Yes, definitely. Coach Reed is coached at Wheaton, Johnson & Wales, UConn, and UNH. Not only that, I caught up with him this week, and he said that about the loss against Nichols, they simply got in their heads, and when they learn to get out of their heads and just play, they'll be able to put up a good fight against some of the upcoming teams they'll face.
And it definitely doesn't seem like they're in their head today at all. It seems like they're out there having fun. You hear the music in here too. Everyone's having fun.
Yeah, we certainly are having fun.
Exactly. So the Lions, with a strong performance tonight, they'll look to carry that on as they play some of those stronger opponents as the season goes on.
That's definitely another one of Coach Reed's coaching styles, is he really encourages our players to have fun out there, as you said.
And it's only more fun when you're winning too, so as the Lions are here today.
Yeah, speaking of fun, we just saw Sam Willinger doing a little bit of a dance out there. So we see the Lions, as you mentioned, Jill, they aren't in their heads tonight. They're composed, they're having fun, and they're excited.
Lions chasing after this one, and they managed to get it over. What a play from the Lions there. Not sure from this angle if that one was going out, but either way, Martin's got a piece of it, and that gives the Lions a point.
That's a great play from the Lions. I mean, how do you keep that in and still get a point off of that? That's absolutely amazing play.
And look at the hustle from everybody involved in that one to keep the Lions in it. And ultimately they come away with the point, 13-7 in the second set. Way to keep it alive there by Rivers for Dean. Blocked again, and almost thought we were going to see a replay of what we just saw, but not this time. This one goes to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Willinger still diving for that last ball there. It just goes to show the type of player he is. Strong work ethic, strong player, an even better leader.
Now serving for the Bulldogs, Jake Kelly, freshman from Westminster, Massachusetts. Willinger digs that one out, and then Elliott with a big hit. And the point goes to the Lions.
It looks like Dean may have attacked that serve from inside the 10-foot line.
Looks like Aaron Brody got caught up in the net there.
There we go, Jill correcting me. It's always good to have insight from someone who's on the team, plays for the coach.
Absolutely.
I've got you, Jenna.
Thank you.
There's Elliott looking to put it away, but right into the net, back to the Bulldogs. And as we've said time and time again, every time it looks like Emerson is pulling away in either the first set or in this second set, the Bulldogs come back and keep it close.
Yeah, that's great to see. Even though they are losing right now, from a team that hasn't played a game yet, it's good to see that from their coach's standpoint that they're not giving up, they're not going to go down easy. And especially since this is his first season with the team, I think that's the type of play that he would want to see.
And we mentioned it earlier, but 4 freshmen on this team, 3 of which have seen significant time in today's game, so they're trying to get their feet wet to the college volleyball scene as well. So definitely a lot of new faces for this Dean Bulldog team. At the net, hit long there. First appearance from Garrett Seckitz, and gets a little bit too much under that one.
This game is getting a little too close for comfort. We'll see how Emerson reacts.
And you're seeing players like Seckitz, and we saw Lou for a while at the beginning of this second set. Seems like Emerson's trying to get some fresh faces out there, some new energy to keep the energy up for the Lions.
Yeah, now we see Parker Gray coming on for the Lions as well. It's going to be interesting to see him and Seckitz play together, as they did go to the same high school. The two definitely have chemistry together, so it's going to be great to see how they fare on the court.
There's the serve from Connolly. Poorly placed, and it will go back to the Lions. And Jenna, this will be the first time that we see Seckitz and Gray in action together at the college level. Seconds did not play in the match the other day against Nichols College. So this is their first chance at the college level to be next to each other up there. Into the net there from Di Carvalho, and back to the Lions as they're building on this lead slowly but surely.
Yeah, going back to Seconds and Gray, this has definitely got to be an exciting moment for the both of them. I mean, I can't think of a better feeling than stepping on the court at the college level with your buddy who you've been through high school with. So it's going to be great for the mentality and the attitude of the Lions.
Back to the Bulldogs. There's a serve from Carlson. Chen keeps it alive to Elliott. Tough to handle, but the Bulldogs make it look easy. Brody gets it over. Chen to Liu. And that one goes just long. Back to the Bulldogs. Carlson will serve once again. Here you see that last point. Liu just a little too much under that one. And on the other side, Carlson's serve will go into the net. As the Lions lead 18-12 here in the second set. Willinger will check back in as he looks to lead the Lions to their second consecutive set victory to go up 2-0.
Yeah, Joey, you mentioned earlier the youth between these two teams is a lot of it. As we saw earlier, Carlson, the freshman, was taking the serve, but what's interesting about this Dean team is that it seems that they are very confident in their underclassmen. As we mentioned quite a few times, John Kaufman, only a sophomore, yet he is the captain of this team.
And just noticed on the Dean side, too, we talked about Seconds and Gray being high school teammates. Martins and Kaufman, both graduates of East Providence High School. Kaufman a sophomore and Martins a freshman, though, but you got to think they crossed paths in high school as well. And a strong point there for the Bulldogs as they continue to fight. 19-13, Emerson ahead. Tyler Martins, the East Providence graduate, will serve for the Bulldogs. Liu gets it. Now Willinger looking for it. Not enough under that one. And too many hits there from the Bulldogs, and it'll go back to Emerson.
It's definitely starting to show that Dean is a younger team in the way that they are getting a little down on themselves, but it's okay. Hopefully they will pick it up.
Yeah, Jill, that goes to show the difference between the coaching style of the two coaches, as you mentioned earlier. Coach Reed for the Lions, you said he was talking about not getting in your heads, and it looks like maybe Dean could use a little bit of that advice themselves.
And Kaufman was upset after that last point, but he makes good on the opportunity he has there, getting Dean back on the board. Di Carvalho back now to serve for Dean. Gets it to Elliott. Gray's hit is tipped at the net and into the ground as Emerson gets another one.
That was a great play by Emerson. They had all three attackers up, so Dean didn't know where the ball was going.
Now Gray back to serve. Strong block at the net there. Brody with another attempt, tipped at the net. Liu to Gray to Willinger. Kept alive by Dean. They'll get it back over as Emerson has another chance here. Willinger, cross court. Dean staying alive. Kaufman tipped at the net. Back to the Bulldogs. Kaufman again, tipped. And this one will go to Dean. Kaufman with a strong fight there.
Yeah, that just shows the leadership that Kaufman has, the strong showing there, motivating his team, not get in their heads, keep going, keep the volley going as long as they can.
There you see the finishing hit once again to keep Dean in this one. Jake Kelly now back to serve as Aaron Rivers goes over to get a breather. Looks like Kelly is a little too antsy there.
The excitement of the game gets to you sometimes.
Wagas trying to get a tricky one over the top there, but meeting him right at the net was Nicholas Carlson. He was ready for it.
That was a great read.
Yeah, it definitely was a great read, but his height is definitely an advantage. He stands at 6 feet, so being on that net is definitely a good place for him.
Elliott with a boom right there off the back of Martins. And the Lions back on the board.
Almost worked in their favor there.
That stayed in the air for a while, but eventually hitting the ground. Lions looking to string a few together here to go ahead 2-0. There's the serve. Kaufman has a chance. Gets it to Chen. Looks like he went over there, so now back to the Lions. Doesn't seem like Kaufman necessarily agrees with that one, but it'll stand nonetheless.
Yeah, you can't really change the official's mind in any sport, so what they say goes.
Not a strong hit there from the Bulldogs. And there's a strong one from Connolly to get Emerson up 24-16. One more, and this set will be all wrapped up.
Yeah, that was a great read from the Lions, especially to capitalize on that weak hit from Dean. And we saw Connolly just put that one away like it was nobody's business.
And there's an ace to finish off the set as Emerson wins that one 25-16. 2 straight set wins for the Lions, and they'll look to finish it off after this quick break. now at the Brown and Plofker Gym, where Emerson is ahead in sets 2-0. I'm Joe Dubois, joined by Jillian Kay and Jenna Case. And Jill, if you could tell me what's got Emerson ahead so far, or rather, who's got Emerson ahead?
Well, so far we've seen Josh Elliott come right out of the gate with 6 kills and 5 aces, totaling 11 points for the Lions.
Yeah, the leader in points today for the Lions in points is Elliott. And on the other side for Dean, who's got to kind of pick it up for them if they want to get back into this one, Jenna?
Yeah, Joey, definitely their captain, John Kaufman. He's only hitting at a 0.231%. So especially when you're the captain of a young team, actions speak louder than words. So if he can pick up his play a bit, it might motivate his team to do the same.
Yeah, this one's definitely far from over, as the first 2 sets have been very competitive, Emerson winning each, but Dean could very well come away with a win in one of these sets. Emerson will look to make it a clean sweep, as Willinger has a strong hit, but Bulldogs making this first point interesting already. But Duress puts an end to that, going cross court and painting it there. Right along the sideline.
Yeah, Joey, you mentioned they are looking to do a clean sweep, which they actually did last year. Both times the teams met, Emerson won both matches 3-0.
And Emerson with a strong start in this third set, 1-0. Duress's serve, looks like he stepped on the line. It's now back to the Bulldogs. I'd like to see some more of that energy for the Lions. Seems like it's quieted down a little bit at the beginning of this third set.
Maybe it's because the music stopped.
The music always has a strong effect in here. And another service error there as Brody hits it long. Now back to the Lions. There you see it again. Brody just a little too long on that one, as Connolly answers with the serve of his own. And that one will go out. Last touch by the Bulldogs, so another point for the Lions. We've seen the Lions build up an early lead in each of the 3 sets and then just kind of coast as they go on. We'll see if they can do the same here. There's a serve from Connolly. De Carvalho at the net and a strong block. Looks like Gray got a piece of that one. And Emerson's rolling now.
Great teamwork from Gray and Willinger. They both pressed over the net and created a great block.
Absolutely. There you see it again. Gray straight into the ground, just what the Lions needed there. But Connolly, unfortunately, hits that one wide. Dean back on the board. See Connolly saying, got to calm down, getting a little too excited as Emerson was building up that lead.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to be excited, have good momentum going through your match, but you definitely don't want to get carried away and get out of the right headspace. So the Lions have to stay focused even though they're winning this game.
Willinger gets a piece of it at the net, but then it will go out. Dean with a couple in a row, 4-3. Emerson still ahead, though, in this third set. Serving for the Bulldogs, Carlson. Willinger digs it out, chased down. Lions will just be forced to get this one over. It's Duress. Now the Bulldogs with a chance. See Brody grabbing that finger there. It's all taped up. The Bulldogs get a point out of it anyways, as it's all tied up at 4.
Yeah, on that last volley there, we saw Lucas Ragas keep it in play. Just goes to show the type of player he is. He's hustling as hard as he can to get over to the wall no matter where the ball is. Shows the type of team player he is. He also has 19 assists, so...
That says all you need to know.
Yeah.
It's Gray with a thunderous spike there to get the Lions back on the board and back in the lead, as now a couple of subs will check in for the Lions. Jackson Gordon getting in for the first time, and back in is Danny Moen.
That was the first major middle kill we've seen from the Lions, as they ran a 3-ball where Gray was able to run a 0-tempo attack.
Yeah, as we just saw Jackson Gordon checking in for the Lions. This is also his first action of the season, as he did not compete in the 3-0 loss at Nichols.
Strong attempt there from Martins, but it gets away from him. And another one for the Lions. Here's some of that energy coming from the Emerson bench as they look to pull away. Gordon with a strong serve.
Oh.
And this one ends up right near us as it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Emerson. But still, once again, Emerson hustling all over this gym to try to get to every ball.
Yeah, it just shows the type of team that they are. They're hard workers. They're not going to go down easy. They're going to fight for every ball, no matter where it is. They want every point that they can get.
No chair will stand in their way.
Absolutely, Jill.
And miscommunication there from the Bulldogs. Another point for the Lions. Here you see that last one again, just bouncing in between a bunch of Bulldogs. Emerson will take that. Josh Elliott now back in for Jarek Liu. Elliott will serve. Kaufman with a strong hit, but an even better dig by Elliott. Elliott will come up and just hit it back over. DiCarvalho gets it. Now Gray gets back over. Sloppy on this point on both sides. Kaufman wants to put an end to it, and he will. Beautifully placed in the deep corner there.
Yeah, it's great to see Josh Elliott back out on the court. As Jill mentioned earlier, 5 service aces and 6 kills on 11 total attempts. So he's definitely helping out this Lions team for sure.
And Jenny, you talked about Kaufman trying to get back on track, and that will help get Dean back on track. And we saw a great play there from him, but unfortunately DiCarvalho's serve right after will go into the net.
Yeah, although that serve did go into the net, it's still up to Kaufman to keep motivating his team, keep their spirits high. Their mentality needs to stay in a good place, and that's up to him as the captain to do so.
And this third set has already been more competitive than the first two, as Emerson holding on to a narrow lead, 8-7. They won the first set 25-15, second 25-16. And Emerson will get another point as we see error upon error on either side. 2 subs now for the Lions. Is heading to the bench is Danny Mullen and Jackson Gordon. Here's a serve. Kept alive by the Bulldogs. Good dig from Elliott. It's sent back over by Duress. At the net there. Not a strong move from the Bulldogs. Emerson has a chance. Duress gets it over. But still no really big hits. Good block at the net. Then Emerson gets it right back over. Miscommunication. You see Connolly saying, "I'll take that."
That was great coverage from Connolly. It's not necessarily his job as a middle blocker to cover. However, he saw that opening and took it.
Yeah, Jill, you're right. That coverage from Connolly, although it wasn't necessarily his responsibility, it shows the hard-working mentality of this Emerson team here.
As that serve, or excuse me, the return on the serve goes out. Last touch by DiCarvalho, another point for the Lions. But Jenna, as you were saying, I think it just shows what the Lions will do for one another as well, as Connolly not necessarily a part of his role, but if he has the opportunity and he doesn't see a teammate there, he'll step up for that teammate and do it himself.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're on a team, you want to have the mentality that you'll do anything for each other. You're all competing for the same goal, the same thing. So when it comes down to covering for your teammate or hitting a block or getting a dig, I mean, you're going to be willing to put your own body on the line for your team.
Knowing that they would do the same for you, right, Jenna?
Yes, absolutely.
Emerson with a nice little run here to go ahead 12-7 in the third set. And an ace, oh excuse me, that will go just long. And now another chance for the Bulldogs. Here's the serve from Kaufman. And another service error there, as Lions will get it right back. Duress will serve. The Lions up 5. As back in comes Jarek Liu.
believe it or not, both teams are tied for service errors at 13.
Blocked at the net by the Lions, now kept alive. Willinger looking for the kill. Just tapped over. DiCarvalho keeps it alive. Duress races back for it. Now Raga setting up Lou. Blocked at the net and into the ground as Lou makes another strong play.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, Jarek Liu, he doesn't necessarily have the height as some of the other players, but he's not letting that stand in his way. He's timing his jumps perfectly, and he's able to get the ball over the net with no problem.
And not only is he timing his jumps perfectly, Jenny, he's getting up off the ground, so he's making up for some of that lack of height with that bounce.
Absolutely.
Lou gets it over, but it'll go just wide. Another one for the Bulldogs. Serving now is Brody. Gets it over. Duress keeps it alive. Lou racing for it, and that will come right by my head and out of bounds. Bulldogs stringing a couple of nice plays together here.
Yeah, this set has been closer than previous ones. Emerson sitting at 14 points, Dean at 10. So Dean doesn't necessarily have to kind of chip away at that huge lead as they had in previous sets.
And we're seeing that hustle again from the Lions, but Duress's hit is just wide. Another point for Dean. Brody continuing to serve. Darius digs it out. Ragas to Chen. Blocked up at the net. Chen keeps it in. And Duress comes up to try to put it away, but Dean's there. Martins gets it over. Emerson with another opportunity. There's Lou. Right to Brody, though. Martins hits it over the top for the Bulldogs. Now Chen setting up for Duress. Brody with another dig. Connolly gets it back over. And this is a long point here. Willinger right into Brody, and that could be a big momentum shift for the Lions. Dean staying alive up until this point, and especially on that point, but the Lions with a big win there.
You're right, Joey. We just saw Willinger absolutely stun number 13 Brody on Dean, and once again he tried to take it with his hands rather than his solid platform.
There's Brody again. Duress keeps it alive to Connolly. Now back over. Strong play by Rivers there to keep it in for the Bulldogs. There's another long point going on here, and Lou hits that one wrong and goes into the net. Back to Dean.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a mistime from Lou. Again, as Jill mentioned, we don't want to see the Lions get in their own heads. We want to see them stay calm, clear-headed, and composed.
Now a timeout will be called as this third set is close. Definitely the closest out of the three we've seen so far. We'll be back after a quick break. I'm sorry, no quick break. I don't know why I said that. We only do the breaks in between sets. So 15-12, Emerson ahead. And what has Dean adjusted to in this third set, guys, that has made them more competitive?
As we mentioned earlier, John Kaufman had to kind of bring his level of play up a little bit, and I think we've seen that from him so far. I mean, he has 3 assists in the set, so it kind of shows the team player he is, maybe why he's the captain of this team. Jill, any thoughts?
I totally agree, Jenna. I think that the Lions have just gotten in their heads, as you said, and Dean has begun to get out of their heads. So it'll be interesting to see how the Lions respond.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. We're kind of seeing a bit of a flip-flop within the mentalities of the two teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how the leaders of each team motivate their teammates to play well and remain strong throughout the rest of this game.
Timeout is now over and play will resume. Carlson will serve for the Bulldogs. To Lou. Duress gets it over. Another not great opportunity for the Lions. DiCarvalho gets it over. Ends up with Gray. Gray to Lou. Lou gets it over. Bulldogs with another chance, but no good there from Brody. Back to the Lions.
Yeah, Jill has mentioned quite a bit throughout this match the way Brody is not using his flat surface and his hands instead. So that error might not necessarily come as a bit of a shock.
There's also a bit of a miscommunication on that play where two players went for the ball at the same time, and that is a huge error in volleyball.
That sort of goes right into the chest of Carlson down there, and then eventually out of bounds. Another point for the Lions. Strong serve there from Jackson Gordon, sophomore from Amherst, New Hampshire.
It's interesting to see Carlson playing back row now because he was originally playing middle blocker.
Yeah, I agree, Jill, but I think what that shows is definitely the versatility of the team and the confidence they have in their players and the players' abilities.
Definitely.
And also, as we mentioned a few times, Dean's still trying to figure out maybe their identity and where guys fit best, so putting them in all these different spots, seeing how they fare, will definitely do them well in the long run.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Joey. And if they're going to do it in any game, this is the game to try it. I mean, first game of the season, non-conference, it's okay to test things out. I mean, sure, you want to start off on your strong foot, but in the end, you're going to have to try players in new places. And if you can't do it in practice, you're going to have to do it in a game.
Absolutely, and Dean on another nice little run to get within two. Emerson leading by a slim margin here in this third set, 17-15. As they look to finish this one off. Up at the net is Gordon. Hangs in the air a little too long there for Gray. Emerson still gets it back over though. DiCarvalho gets it tipped at the net, and another point for the Bulldogs. They're within one.
What we saw with that play with Gray and Gordon was that Gray prefers a zero tempo set, and it seems like Gordon tried to give him a little bit of a higher set. So we'll see how they respond to that.
Here is the serve from Martins. And that one will go wide there from Mullen. A good opportunity. Now this third set is all tied up. A very young group out there for the Lions. Seems like they were hoping that they could wrap this one up for them, but we might see some more adjustments here if Coach Reed wants to finish this match off in this third set.
Coach Reed has just been told that he has used 9 subs, and you get a total of 12. So we'll see how he uses them now.
Yeah, Jill, that's an interesting thing to bring up. It'll definitely be exciting to see if he continues to keep his young players out there, put a little bit of seniority back out there with Willinger.
And a strong point there from the Lions. Great effort all around, but Dean with just too much power there as they take their first lead of this set, 18-17. They're up. And here you see that last point again. Emerson all over the place, but Dean just too quick, too powerful, and Emerson couldn't handle it.
Yeah, Joey, you mentioned this is Dean's first lead of the set, but I also believe it is their first lead of the game thus far. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back out after this break, if they're going to change their game plan a bit, or if they're going to keep up with the momentum and the mentality that they have going right now.
It's definitely the first time today that Emerson has really been on the ropes and had to make those adjustments themselves. It's always been Dean calling the timeouts and Dean trying to figure out how to get back on track. This time it's the Lions, because frankly they don't want to be here for another 20 minutes or half hour, however long it'll take for another set or two. They want to finish it up now and get out of here with the win.
They're definitely going to have to rally together and work together as a team.
Yeah, the Lions also play tomorrow against MIT, so it looks like they're going to be trying to wrap this one up a bit early so that they're fresh and rested and ready to go for tomorrow.
Strong handling of the serve there as Lou with a powerful hit, and Emerson is back on the board, and we got this third set back tied up. Elliott will now come in for Lou. Made the strong play on that point there. Now Elliott will serve, looking to get Emerson back in the lead. And what a block at the net there from Gray to give Emerson the lead once again. Great play from the freshman there.
That was a major point for Emerson as it carried them to 19 to 18, 1 point above Dean.
And now you hear Samuel Willinger leading a chant as Emerson, it seemed like, had hauled the momentum, but Elliott's serve will go into the net and we're back to a tie game.
Might have been a little bit untimely of a chant because it was right in the middle of a serve.
Yeah, that service error is definitely a bit uncharacteristic of Josh Elliott. He has 5 service aces so far, so seeing that error is a little bit confusing.
And looks like Dean reached over the net there perhaps, so call goes to Emerson as they retake the lead. Gray with the serve. Strong play there by the Lions to keep it alive, and Elliott up at the net. Kaufman gets to it. Now Brody looking for the kill. He gets it across. And Brody likely crossed the net there. Back to the Lions. Or I'm sorry, no. Something called against the Lions, and the point goes to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Dean is not going down without a fight. Tied 20-20 here in the third set. We're getting a little bit close to 25. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Connolly with a nice touch to get it over. A lot of Dean players there, and it'll result in an Emerson point. As Willinger will check back in.
Although the Lions got that point, they're going to have to be a little bit more careful with how they deal with the ball.
Absolutely. The story of this match really has been Emerson waiting for Dean to make those mistakes, and we saw it on display there. We'll see if they can do it over these next few points and see if they can come away with a 3-0 victory. DiCarvalho gets it right back. Connolly straight to the ground, and there you see it. Dean leaving it hanging. Connolly takes it.
Very strong play there from Connolly, and he was celebrating like he absolutely should. Great play from him. It's going to motivate this Emerson team a lot.
As a middle blocker myself, that I have to say that overpasses are my favorite plays. So that was a great play by Connolly.
And another strong serve from the Lions. 23-20 the score now. 3 in a row for them. Another serve incoming. And an ace there as Emerson is now 1 point away from winning this one. And you can kind of feel Dean's spirit deflating a little. We'll see if Emerson can take advantage.
That was a close ball there, landed just on the line.
Now here is the serve. And that one will go out. Emerson will have to win this one on a return.
Yeah, that service error there is definitely giving Dean another chance to stay in this game. So we're going to see what Captain John Kaufman can do here.
Emerson gets it right back, and there's a point for the Bulldogs. Can't say it enough. They will keep fighting until the very end.
Yeah, that's a great mentality to see from a young team especially, that they're just going to fight until the end, no matter what the score is.
There's the serve from Kaufman. Ends up with Elliott. And now Willinger blocked at the net. Connolly tips it back. And now Duress will just get it back over. Brody over the top to Chen. To Ragas. To Willinger. And blocked and out of bounds. And that'll do it for this one. Emerson 25-22 in the third set. They win in straight sets. Guys, what do you think about this match today from the Lions, their first win of the year?
This is a great showing from the Lions. I mean, absolutely incredible to win it in 3 straight sets. We've seen every player step foot on the court, so it just shows the confidence that the coach has in his team and that the teammates have in each other.
I think it was an amazing game by the Lions as they pulled together and were able to rally in this last set. Even though it was close, they never lost their composure, and I think they'll be ready for their game tomorrow against MIT.
And now with all that being said, we'll kick it to our Emerson Channel Sports Play of the Game. Let's see what stood out above all the rest here today. Strong play, and yeah, we remember this one. Everyone chasing around the court. Duress bombing it over to the other side. And Emerson, with just the story of this one on their part, was definitely the heart they showed, and it's on full display here, sprinting all around and managing to steal a point there. And Emerson, strong performance today. 25-15 first set, 25-16 second set, 25-22 in the third. They win this one. For Jenna Case and for Jillian Kay, I'm Joey Dubois. We'll see you next time on Emerson Channel Sports.